I have a question because I'm a football fan, but not really.
Yeah.
He's a Cowboys fan.
You hear about guys not participating in the. Is that good or bad?
Participating in what?
Yeah.
The combines.
Oh yeah, I think the games just evolve where players are realizing, wait a minute, I'd probably get drafted high whether I do this or not. I think they're recognizing there's a little more leverage than they realized, and teams need a #1 receiver, and they need a #1 tight end, and they need a great back and quarterback and line play and defensive players more than I think more than players realized. And so they're now saying, wait a minute, team needs me a lot more than maybe it used to look like. So I'm going to play it like I play from a position of power. It would seem that's what they're doing.
That's what it feels like.
So that's not a bad thing?
As long as they keep getting drafted high.
If I'm looking at it from like the media having covered it, it really was like, hey, wear this underwear. We're going to jump. We're going to have you run. We're going to track everything. And then for a few months, that one time that you ran, we're going to hold it against you. We're going to talk about how that one time you ran really slow. You shouldn't get drafted.
That's what
really
it is.
high. And so to them, they're going, judge me based off of my film. Judge me based off my interviews. Like, I'm going to do one broad jump that's not going to appease you, and then you're going to call me not athletic. So from your perspective, like the leverage play, it makes sense. And
so is that good or bad for Caleb Williams?
I think the top quarterbacks have never really performed. They have not really done all.
For years, they've opted out of throwing at the combine, and then they throw back at their school on their pro day to their receivers. And
you threw at the combine?
I did. I didn't have the cloud or the altitude to be able to dictate the terms. But I remember being at the Senior Bowl
draft as RG3 and Andrew Luck.
Got it.
I remember being at the Senior Bowl and having scouts of teams interview me, and at some of them, a lot of them are great, but some of them they're talking down to you. And they're saying they're quizzing you. They're kind of talking down to you. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, you guys haven't had a quarterback for like 30 years. And like, I could maybe be an improvement.
Right.
You're kind of talking to me like I'm lucky to be here. I feel like the power dynamic is actually the opposite. But
yeah.
So it was just interesting because you even like realized at the time, you're like, okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you're kind of letting him, but you're realizing like, I feel like you need a quarterback a lot more than, I'm
realizing with you now, like listening to you, I feel like you're the ultimate team player. I feel like everyone on your team always likes you. You're really good at making sure everyone's involved. But you also have such a firm grasp of like, hey, don't take advantage of me. Like, I know what I'm worth. I feel like you really understand both.
I said to multiple times, I've just said, whether it's to my agent or to a coach when we're going through the contract process, I just say, look, I deal in two things: reality and risk. And I'm if I get cut and that's reality, then that's reality. But if reality, as I was saying, thinking about the scout, like if reality is you need a quarterback, you guys haven't had one in many years, there's a chance I could be that. If that's reality, then let's deal in reality. Let's not deal in a fake world where you're acting like you have all the cards.
Yeah.
Or risk where, hey, I may be the quarterback, but I don't want to take the risk of, then I got to deal with that too. But as long as I'm willing to take a risk and there's reality that is favorable, then I'm going to deal in those two things.
And did you tell your agent the number you wanted, or did you rely on
No. I've always been about structure because in basketball, I think the contracts are guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm guessing. Football, it's not the case.
Wait, it's not guaranteed?
No, so it's all fake money. So,
seriously?
Yeah. So
I never knew that.
You get portions of it guaranteed. There's been one all guaranteed contract.
What was that?
Deshaun Watson when he went from Houston to Cleveland. But other than that, it's percentages.
So it means if you get hurt, they can go,
Correct. So you basically sign 1 to 2 year deals.
I never knew that.
They're a nice contract, but then there's these fake numbers afterwards that basically are if you play amazing.
If you see like a 4-year, $75 million deal, but it's only like 30-something guaranteed, it's really a 2-year deal where the guaranteed money is. And then after those 2 years, they're likely going to cut you or ask you to restructure your contract.
So, Shaq, what it does is it makes everybody come into work and grind their tails off because even the highest paid guys are like, if I don't deliver, I'm gone.
Right.
So there's a little bit of there's like a healthiness to that where no one's on easy street, no one can coast. But at the same time, it's not player friendly in the sense that you know, guys are basically fighting year to year, no matter how high of a altitude you've gotten to.
That mental toll has to be exhausting.
Yeah, but I think it creates a great product. I think it's partly, among many reasons why the NFL is so popular, is because guys are giving it everything they have.
Yeah.
And I think they should do that in the NBA. Some of these bums making guaranteed money.
Take away the guaranteed money?
Yeah.
I don't think the Players Association will ever give that up.
They should. That's it. Like,
The other one, the NBA PA, I don't know if you can speak to this, but the NBA stuff that we wish was true of ours is that if you play 10 years in the NBA, lifetime medical. For us, it's basically no matter how long you play, you'll get medical insurance for like 5 years after you're done playing, then it's over. And so obviously a guy like me who's going into year 13, I would love for the NBA dynamic where I know I've played long enough that when I retire, insurance is taken care of for the rest of my life.
Yeah, when it starts hitting
That's
you
what the NBA's
20,
got.
30 years from
Yeah.
down the line. You know, the NBA,
we get free medical?
if you played over 10. You been paying this whole time?
Yeah, so why am I still? You sure about that?
You can fact check me.
Because you're the
Podcast
general.
will fact check
No,
me.
no,
and
because
all
every
that.
time I go to CVS, they ask me to pay. It's some. Oh, hell no.
You know, I've lived it now, obviously, as an athlete, getting franchise tag, changing teams, the business side of it, and how it goes beyond just, you know, I got the vibe from watching the documentary and watching your story. Like, you loved Orlando, you loved living there, you liked the city, but LA provided better opportunities. Just kind of hearing his story in that documentary of how he left, chose to leave to go to LA, but at the same time didn't feel like he really got the offer he wanted to stay. And that just kind of resonated with me because I feel like not at the altitude that Shaq was doing it, but I feel like I've kind of lived that a little bit where you're kind of, I'll stay if the offer is such that it makes sense to stay. But if it doesn't, I believe that if I go to the market, there will be unique opportunities. And obviously, LA worked out for him, not just on the court. I mean, the opportunities off the court. And again, different altitude.
Yeah.
But just watching that, it's funny because as a kid, you watch Shaq, going back to how I was so young when he was playing. As a kid, you watch Shaq, and then you watch documentaries as an adult, and you're like, wow, like now I've kind of lived that at a different altitude, but lived it. And it's just fun to kind of see it.
The indecisiveness, so there's no way you know. What happened with him in Washington was crazy. So he came up 4th round pick. They had another quarterback. He ends up being the guy. And for like 3 straight years, they're like, I don't know. Let's franchise tag him. I don't know. Franchise tag him.
That was my question.
Okay.
What does that mean, franchise tag?
So it allows a team, every team in the NFL can franchise tag one player a year, which is to prevent a long-term contract from having to be signed. But you get paid well for that 1 year. So it would have been very strategic for the Magic to have that. They would have said to you, you can do it 3 times to a guy before he would truly be a free agent. The Magic would have said, here's a 1 year deal at a number you would have liked, but it would not have been beyond 1 year. And then they would have done it again. And then eventually you would have been able to.
And so Washington kept doing it to the point where they couldn't do it anymore. And then you were a free agent. And I'm so happy for you now because it's turned into like it set the market for you, and then you got to experience free agency.
Yeah.
But I have to imagine those years in a game like football where you just want, can I get some long-term security right now? Because one hit, who the hell knows? Yeah. To be on the other side of it right now has to feel incredible.
Well, we love DC and we love Minnesota, and so it is tough to leave teams, but at the same time, you understand that, you know, at some point, maybe that's what's in the cards. You got to, you got to do that. So
you got traded, correct?
I didn't get traded. Became a free agent.
Got it.
Contract expired.
Okay, because I was going to ask before you got traded, did they tell you? Because I got traded twice in the middle of the night.
They didn't tell you?
No, they didn't tell me.
I felt like you knew the Lakers one, though.
No, I didn't know.
Or the Heat one with that route.
The trade already happens, then they tell
you. Well, the trade is in talk, and then they call me and tell me to trade me. But the funny thing about the Miami thing is when I got traded in Miami, I said, okay, I need to go to the locker room and get my stuff because me and Pat had a little altercation. And as soon as I hit that corner, it was about 5 police cars waiting for me. I said, it's like, Shaq, we can't let you in. I said, I'm going to just go in. I'm going to just go in and whoop his right quick and then just go get my son. It's like, nope, we can't let you in. So